I bet on myself. Okay, dream so big that they think I'm crazy. Let out the beast, no, they can't tame me. Don't play with me, better mind your business. I cannot stop now, I ain't finished. I'ma keep on going till I got that. Okay, the way that I'ma do it.
Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. We're sitting 1 week out from Clash of Titans. I was really hoping this video would have been a 2-week out video, hitting an awesome squat PR, some cool benches, and possibly a deadlift session. Ran into a little snag last week. So Saturday, staying 2 weeks out from the competition, normally hit my heaviest squat, heaviest bench session of the prep. Came in, started warming up, wasn't feeling super great, wasn't feeling terrible either. Got to my last warm up, which was 727. It wasn't the best I've hit. Didn't move super great. Wasn't terrible. I was still wearing the performance knee sleeves versus the PR one. I was like, you know what, once I throw those on, if I can really get hyped up, like 821 should be there. Unfortunately, the timing of it worked out where a lot of my training partners were just out of town. Few guys at the gym who I would trust to spot me on a load over 800 pounds ended up not being around, and there was only one guy at the gym who I really trusted to spot with that. There was a couple guys that if 727 had moved a little bit better, I probably would have felt a little bit more confident in it and pushed it, but unfortunately, since it didn't move that well, I was a little hesitant and just a little bit afraid of trying like 821, a new PR, with spotters who I just did not quite trust to, save me if, something happened. Ended up shutting down squat on the day, took bench, hit 546, which I'm very happy with, still inching closer to, getting the bench back to where it needs to be. Still a little ways off from my all-time best, obviously. Setting up to have hopefully a good off season and then come in for the next meet in that upper fives, close to 600 pound range. So because I shut down the squat, the plan was to come in on Monday and retake that squat attempt. Also push deadlift. Unfortunately, Sunday night into Monday, I developed some type of sickness where I just felt horrible. My body was aching. I had really bad chills. Luckily, it was like a very short sickness. It was enough that there was just no way I was going to be able to lift heavy on that day. Ended up skipping it. Had a work trip heading up to Minnesota Tuesday through Thursday. Again, just was not able to do anything on those days as far as like training really heavy. Unfortunately, the last like really heavy session ended up being a wash. Kind of threw a little wrench in the plan. Have to adapt to it, and that's just kind of nature of life. You can worry about the things you can control, and you just have to adapt to the things you can't. Today, we're staying 1 week out from Clash of Titans, as I said. The plan is to push squat a little bit heavier than I normally would. So normally I would probably take something right around opener, maybe like a little bit above. Because I have missed out on some of the heavier training sessions that I would like to, I want to, make sure I can like feel heavy weight against. Going to push the squat a little bit heavier. Obviously I can't take like 821. That would just be way too taxing for me being a week out. I'm gonna take something right around like a second attempt, which would be like 782 is the plan. And then bench, I would like to push that one a little bit higher, just because bench is something I can recover from pretty easily. If I can, you know, inch up a little bit higher than the 546, hit like 550 to 556, that would, you know, give me a little bit more confidence and just hopefully maybe the possibility of like hitting like 562. Like throwing the yellow on would be a huge win for me with this prep, with everything that's going on with the injury and just, you know, all that. We're gonna finish warming up here, start taking squat warm-ups, and hopefully things move well and we can blow 782 up, hit like 556, and we'll take 550. So let's get after it and we'll kind of chat about how the day went.
Always first at the finish line. First to the plate when it's dinner time. First to escape when this shit goes down and these motherfucking clouds finna finish mine. Flow too real, hit 'em with a rhythm rhyme. Tim songs cause it's cold in the winter time. I'm a boss, yeah you know, then I'm finna shine. Always first at the finish line. At the finish line. Always first at the finish line. At the finish line. First to the plate. Finish line. First to the plate when it's dinner time. First to escape when
All right, guys, that wraps up the training session. As you saw, squats went well, bench not so great. Before we talk about it, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave any questions you have for me in the comment section below. As always, if you guys can help with your training, don't forget to check out Proven Strength app. Link for that, description below. Get access to 30 plus programs designed by Andy and myself, world record breaking programs at a fraction of the cost of one-on-one code. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, powerlifting, powerbuilding, bodybuilding style training, as well as you can follow along with myself and Andy's training, which is currently the Clash of Titans prep. Go ahead, check that out. You also get added to our private Discord where we ask questions, get form checks, and talk about training. And if you guys are using it, don't forget to tag myself and Proven Strength on Instagram so I can share your videos. Squats, as we talked about earlier, the plan was to go for that 782. I was feeling a little bit rusty just because, A, not being able to, go heavy last week. So normally I had my secondary squat day on Wednesday. It ended up being a very long work day and just did not have the time or the energy at night to go to the gym. I was out of town and I couldn't find a gym that had a day pass late enough. Basically I had to scrap that with hopes that I could retake that session on Thursday. Ended up, again, finishing work kind of late. It was kind of in a limbo of like I could train that night and then spend the night in Minnesota again and then drive back, or finish up work, drive back, skip the training session. So I decided to do that. Came in on Friday, hit like a pretty light squat session just to kind of, relearn the squat pattern. So 782 felt a little rusty, but it moved great. It felt really good. It felt like what I needed to do. And that gave me a lot of confidence for going into the competition. I do feel like 821 is definitely on the table. I have like 2 more sessions where I'll hit some very light movements just to kind of keep those motor patterns going. With all that, yeah, squat prep has been fantastic outside of that one little hiccup last week. So I've been in a very good spot. Bench, the session did not go quite as I would have liked. Took 550 and it just wasn't quite there. I do think part of that was just I took too long of a break between squat and bench. We ended up waiting for my training partner Pat to do his deadlift session. That was a mistake. Probably should have just said, screw you, we're gonna do bench. But yeah, I just kind of felt like I ran out of steam a little bit. I have started, cutting back a little bit on the carb. I think if I had taken a little bit more caffeine at that point, maybe a half scoop of pre-workout, I could have gotten it. I just, the strength felt like there. It just kind of felt like I was a little bit flat at that point and just couldn't really get hyped up. So I'm not too worried about missing the 550. It would have been really nice, would have been a big confidence booster, but 546 definitely would have been there on the day. I'm confident in that number, which the floor for what I wanted to hit for this competition is 540. I still think I can keep getting a little bit stronger. Again, bench, I end up missing that Thursday session, so was feeling, again, a little rusty on that movement as well. I think with coming in, as long as I can hit all of my training sessions this coming week, I'll feel a lot better about benching and squatting, deadlifting at the competition. Again, we're saying 1 week out. I've started water loading a little bit. I'm body weight sitting at 222 pounds, 223 in the morning. Don't really have much that I have to cut. I will be doing a little bit of a cut. I've started water loading, gonna cut back on carbs and fiber here. Mostly just because I wanna kind of test out a few methods and, really kind of dial in the cut before I do one more big one down to 198 sometime in the fall. I have picked out the next competition, which if you follow my Instagram, you probably have seen which one it is. We'll talk about it after Clash of Titans, obviously, and kind of what the plan is leading into that next meet, off season, all that fun stuff. But overall, solid prep, considering all the factors that made it less than ideal. Kind of had to just roll with the punches. A PR total is on the table. It would take a lot to hit that. Crazier things have happened. Honestly, going into deadlifts at Ghost Clash, I figured there's no way 2300 was happening, but hey, pulled that out. So, maybe something crazy happens on meet day, and we'll see. That said, we're gonna wrap it up. Head to Dublin here in a couple days. Leave on Tuesday, land on Wednesday, and then basically just chilling all day Wednesday. Thursday, probably do a light train session. Weigh-ins are Friday afternoon, so I'll probably wake up Friday morning, do any saunaing or hot bath. I'd like to weigh in something around maybe somewhere between like 209 and like 212 pounds would be kind of my goal body weight. Again, I don't really need to cut that far. So if, you know, things aren't going well, I can stop whenever I need to. That's just kind of, I just want to try a few things out and, you know, see how they go. Definitely going to have footage for the meet. This will probably be the last video before the meet recap. Stay tuned for that, and we'll, you know, hopefully hit something cool on the platform. And that said, remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave any questions you have for me, and we'll catch you next video.
We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the